Well, hello there. Good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Unmasking Love. I am your host, Dr. M. Watson, and wanted to come on tonight and talk with you who will join us uh, about unmasking love. And what we're going to talk about tonight is hey, inhibitions and non negotiables. Come on in, join us. We're going to talk about non negotiables tonight and inhibitions. Yes, I do want to apologize for not coming on last week, but the weather was bad in my area and I was going to do a recording and post it, but I thought, no, I want to talk with you, and you. So I decided to wait until tonight to talk about non negotiables and inhibitions. So come on in. Wait a few minutes or about a minute to give others an opportunity to join us. And we're going to get this topic going so we can talk tonight about some inhibitions and some non negotiables. Hey, do you have non negotiables? Are you inhibited? Is your partner inhibited? Hmm. Inhibitions can cover an array of things, okay? So get your mind right. I'm just not talking about sexual inhibitions. No, I'm not. There are a gamut of inhibitions. Some people are inhibited when it comes to openly communicating. Okay. Some people are inhibited when it comes to going to events and outings. Okay. Some folk are inhibited when it comes to trying different or new foods, or going to different events. So that can cover a gamut of things. Yes, I am a relationship therapist. That's what I do, that's who I am, and also a clinical sexologist. So, yes, come on in tonight. Join us and let's get this talk on tonight. All right. I'll give you about 30 seconds and come on in and join us. All right. Okay. Well, come on in. I know it's the Easter week, and this is Thursday. So I know many people have pre planned events for this awesome week. Those of you who are celebrating Easter. Um, so won't prolong the time. Again, come on and join us. And I'm going to go ahead and get started, okay? So as you join us, we'll chime in. And we're going to start off. I want to start off talking about inhibitions tonight, okay? Inhibitions. And I thought the best way to do that was to go ahead and say yes, establishing, well, no, I don't. Let's back up. Rewind. Let's start off talking about non-negotiables. Non-negotiables. So come on in. Let's talk about non-negotiables. So I firmly believe that establishing non-negotiables in a relationship and in your marriage is generally considerable. Okay, and it is a good idea. Okay, because there are fundamental values and beliefs that are essential for the relationship's health and well-being. Okay, I want to say that one more time. Non-negotiables, okay, in a marriage or relationship is generally considered a good idea from where I sit, from things that I see, from things that I hear, okay? And from things that I really know, okay? It's a good idea. So, what non negotiables are, they are fundamental values and beliefs that are established for the relationship's health and well being. Listen, doesn't matter type of relationship you have. If it's not a healthy relationship, it's not built on a good foundation, and I can promise you, chances of it lasting are next to none. Okay. Uh, I hear people talking about good relationships. Well, the word good is relative. Is it healthy? That's the question you want to ask. Is my relationship healthy? Is my marriage healthy? Okay. So, again, fundamental values uh, and beliefs that are essential for relationships' health and well-beings, you know, and I believe non-negotiables and establishing those and being honest about those are very helpful. Okay. These can include things like honesty, loyalty, respect, and shared values. Okay. Listen, it's all right. You want to make sure that someone is has a good career. You know, they're good with handling finances and things of that nature. At least one of you are. You know, but you also want to make sure that you have loyalty and honesty and respect. You see, and shared values. So I'm telling you what many of you already know. In order to know if you have shared values, that means you've got to have a healthy line of communication, right? Listen, you've got to be able to communicate about things and share, you know, your thoughts, your beliefs, your morals, and your values, and give your partner, your husband or your wife, ample time to be able to express those same things. That's the only way if you will know if you have shared values, okay? Shared beliefs, shared morals, okay? Listen, I know somebody might say, well, we know that. That sounds so kindergarten. It's like kindergartner, you know? Well, it's really relationship one-on-one. You would be surprised. And then some of you may not be surprised, but there's so many relationships. There's so many marriages. They missed relationship one-on-one. They skipped that course and they tried to jump head over heels in and just start off running. Oh, I got news for you. You got to backtrack and get 101. Okay. So those are some of the things that are required in basic 101. Okay. So by having these clearly defined, okay, couples can better navigate challenges and ensure their core values are respected. Listen, it's not if you run into some challenges or if you're faced with challenges, it's just a matter of when, okay? I know quite a few successful relationships, okay? And I don't know any of them that have not ran into some challenges, okay? Uh, Welcome tonight, Facebook. Good to see you here. I see Monica. Good to see you tonight. Welcome. Happy birthday, chick. Happy birthday, songbird. Happy birthday to you, girl. Listen, so good to see you. I hope you're doing well. We share birthday month, and I'm proud to be able to share with you. Good to see you tonight. All right. So, listen, we want to look at benefits of non-negotiables, okay? Benefits of non-negotiables. And like I said, the non-negotiables, I believe, are essential and they're necessary, whether you're in a dating relationship or courtship, contemplate marriage, or whether you're already in a marriage, okay? It's a good idea to have your non-negotiables, okay? And know what they are and be honest with your significant other about those, okay? So clarity and shared understanding. Let's start right there. Okay. Non-negotiables, they provide a framework for understanding each other's expectations and values, and they prevent misunderstandings and potential conflicts. Wow. Let me tell you, that's a powerful statement right there. Okay? Non negotiables, they provide a framework for understanding each other's expectations. I hear people say, well, I don't have any expectations. It is what it is. It'll be what it'll be. I'm not expecting anything. Eh, wrong answer. Everyone has expectations. Yeah, let that marinate. Everyone has some expectations, okay? Now, there is usually one who is more readily open to share their expectations with hopes that the other one is just going to acclimate or go along with that, okay? And they be that as it may. They might do that for a while, okay? But then it comes to a point where now the one that was silent and said they didn't have any expectations, they realize deep down within here, up here in their heart, up in their head, they do have some expectations, okay? Because it's just unrealistic not to have expectations, okay? So if nobody ever told you that before, let me be the first to tell you. We're all expecting something, okay, in a relationship. Again, welcome. Good to see all of you who joined in tonight. Don't hesitate to chime in. I'd love to have your comments or your questions. We're talking about non-negotiables tonight. That's what we're talking about, non-negotiables. And if I get a chance before time is up, I want to talk a little bit about inhibitions, okay? So another benefit of non-negotiable is improved communication. How many of you know that all of us can improve in our communication? Okay. And that's very important. Open discussions on non-negotiables encourage healthy communication and builds a stronger foundation for your marriage or for your relationship. I'm going to say that one more time. Openly discussions on your non-negotiables encourage healthy communication and builds a stronger foundation for your relationship or for your marriage, okay? Another thing is it reduces resentment and conflict. See, when you can go ahead and, as the songwriter said back in the day, when you can go ahead and put everything out in the open, you can put it up on top of the table. You know how I feel. You know what I'm thinking. I know how you feel. I know what you're thinking. Now we got that up on the table. So now as two mature adults, we can talk about that, right? We can talk about it. It's very hard and difficult to talk about unexpressed thoughts, unexpressed feelings. Listen, sometimes folk in these relationships and these marriages, they expect folk to be mind readers. Okay. Oh, I thought you knew. We've been together for 10 years and you still don't know? No, if you have not expressed this, if you have not told me, you've not shared with me, you've not written me a note, how am I supposed to know? Right? So, there again, ain't talking about nobody, just talking about what I'm talking about. Open, honest, improved communication. See, we can't be afraid to communicate. We can't be afraid to share our thoughts, and our feelings. Listen, we talk about whether we're vegan or whether we don't eat certain foods, right? Okay. Just like that's important, other aspects of your morals, your values, your belief system, your non-negotiables, your do's, your don'ts, your wills, your wants, all of those things are important as well. Okay? So let's put them all up on the table and let's discuss them. Let's talk about them. All right? Come on in, join us. Throw in some questions on there. I see you, Gina. Good to see you. Welcome tonight. All right. Talking about right now non-negotiables. Non-negotiables in your relationships. Listen, even in your friendships, these non-negotiables are not just limited to uh, relationships or marriages. You got to have non-negotiables in your friendships, on your job. You know, we all have non-negotiables. Good to see you tonight, Gina. Okay, so if we want to reduce resentment and conflict, we need to be able to communicate openly, okay, about our non-negotiables. Listen, I'm gonna say it like this. I believe everybody should have at least one or two non-negotiables. Otherwise, listen, you just gonna acclimate and do whatever somebody else or everybody else wants you to do. You just gonna go everywhere that other folk want you to go. No, no. You've got to have some non-negotiables. You can't. Okay. Um, the next one is respect and trust. Wow, those are powerful right there. I believe those must be, and I know must is a strong word, but must be the foundational or the foundation that every relationship, every friendship, every marriage is built on. Listen, it matters not what you have. If you don't have respect and if you don't have trust, I can tell you right now, you're on a shaky foundation, you know. So what you're trying to build, it will not stand. It will not stand at all. Ah, hello there, Rice. I see you. Happy belated birthday to me. Thank you, girl. It's a good birthday. Them double digits, they coming on in there. Thank God for another birthday. God has definitely favored me, so I'm thankful. So respect and trust. Y'all chime in. Listen, establishing and upholding non-negotiables demonstrate mutual respect and builds trust. Okay. See, if I'm honest with you and I tell you the truth, you know you can believe that. Okay. And then you watch my pattern. You watch what I do and how I do what I do. You really get to know me, not just what I say, but you get to know me. Okay. And so when someone else comes to you and try to tell you something about me, because you know me at my core, see, you don't have to wonder about what they're saying. You can say, yep, that's her, you know, or you can say, you must be talking about somebody else. And then sometimes you don't have to say anything. You know, I'm learning sometimes we don't have to respond to everything that people say, you know, because sometimes there's an ulterior motive, you know, and sometimes there's a negative spirit coming with some negative things that people say. So we don't always have to respond, okay? But when you can build trust and respect, okay, for, I'm going to say your significant other, or your wife or your husband, listen, that's that's a solid foundation right there. Okay, solid foundation. We're just talking about non-negotiables. Okay, another thing is personal growth and fulfillment. Okay, non-negotiables can be tied to personal goals and values, ensuring that the relationship aligns with individual aspirations and promotes personal growth. Okay, talking about your dreams, your desires, your aspirations. Okay, and then again, always allowing ample opportunity for your partner to talk about theirs as well. You know, it's very inconsiderate for one to express themselves and just continue to express themselves, talk about all their dreams, all their goals, all their aspirations, and never listen to or inquire about the goals, the dreams, and the aspirations of their significant other. It's something wrong with that. Okay. It's something wrong with that. Okay. You want to be able to share and care, okay, about each other, others' dreams and goals and aspirations. There again, uh, usually in a relationship, one is more readily willing to share about their goals and aspirations than the other. And that can be a whole nother topic because that's for various reasons. Some people just are not as expressive. They haven't learned to be, or they're a little more, they're shy, they're a little withdrawn. And sometimes they need to connect with the right person to bring out the best in them. Y'all hear me? Sometimes you need to connect with the right person to bring out the best in you. Okay? And beyond a shadow of a doubt, if you're with the right person, you bring out the best in them as well. See, that's why that tag team works. Tag team that thing. You activate. You're bringing out the best in each other. Okay? That makes a wonderful, wonderful relationship. It makes a wonderful friendship. There. If you can tag team it. Okay? All right. All right. Hey, I see you, Mr. Morris. Good to see you tonight. Um, Thank you, Gina, for chiming in. Another thing in my notes, examples of non-negotiables. That's what I'm talking about tonight. Okay. Again, honesty and loyalty and honest communication is crucial, as I said, for a healthy marriage or for a healthy relationship. You know, matters not all the things and stuff that you have. You see, that's good in its place, and it's all relative. Okay. But if you have all the stuff, all the things, you know what I'm saying, that I'm going to say that you can afford or that you desire and that you want, okay, or that you're in debt to and you pay it on the credit cards or whatever, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't have respect, if you don't have honesty, if you don't have a healthy line of communication, what do you have? Come on, somebody, talk to me. What do you have? You know, if you're with someone that you can't even communicate with, you see, I see so many couples. Listen, I'm not gonna go on a tangent, but I could start talking. I got stories, and not stop talking for 2 or 3 days if I didn't fall asleep. I got stories. You know, they just don't. It's almost like they don't like each other. You see, listen, that doesn't make for a good friendship. That does not make for a good relationship. And it definitely does not make for a good marriage if you don't like me and if I don't like you. Okay. So building on honesty and healthy communication and talking about our non-negotiables and all of those kind of things, they help build, I'm going to say, likability. I just made that word up. Likability, along with respect for each other. Okay. You definitely want to be liked. Okay. So again, we talked about respect, treating each other with kindness. Yeah. Trust. You got to build that trust through consistent actions. Okay. And with kind words. That's how you do it. Criticizing or, demanding or degrading or, disrespecting someone. That's not a way to build trust at all. All right. And we know those things as adults, and we try as hard as we can sometimes to exhibit those things and teach our children and grandchildren those type of things. But how many of you know a lot of times we I want to say punish or discipline children for some of the same things that adults do? Oh, I ain't got no help here tonight. Ain't nobody gonna agree with me at all tonight, and that's okay. I know what I know. I see it all the time, and I've had to catch myself in the past too. You see, I can be transparent and be honest. And if I'm not careful, I catch myself sometimes now. Getting on to one of the grands about something, that I just did a couple of days ago, or something So we have to be careful, okay? There again, I know you all know this, but there are no perfect people, so there are no perfect adults. Okay? So we're learning as we go and we're growing as we go. And prayerfully, we're growing to become better on today than we were yesterday, better tomorrow than we were today. Okay? So it's a learning and growing as we go. Okay? But I believe you should have some non-negotiables, some do's and some don'ts, okay? Now, I'll just share one, okay? One of my dear friends, senior friends, she's gone on to be with the Lord now. But one of the non-negotiables when she and her husband married over 40-something years ago was, listen, she did not go to they used to call it the dry cleaners when I was growing up. She didn't go to the cleaners to pick his clothes up. That was a non-negotiable. That was not on her list to do. I know that somebody might say, well, my goodness, she couldn't go pick them up. She could, but that was something that she let him know up front. That's one of my non-negotiables. I'm not going to pick up your clothes that you take to the cleaners. You take them, you go pick them up. You know, that didn't negate the love that she had for him, the respect that she had for him. Let me tell you, she loved his shoes. You hear me? And I know he loved hers too, you know, and he still does. And she's been gone on to glory 5 years now. You see, love of his life. And that's who he still talks about, you know, even now in his 80s. But that's just an example of non-negotiables. And it's okay. Listen, a non-negotiable is not something that you fall out about. It's not something that you continue to ding the person about. Oh, well, you don't do this and so you don't do this and da da da. I've already told you that's a non-negotiable for me. You know, either I'm not willing to do that, I don't enjoy doing that, or I just don't want to do that. And it's okay. Okay. So when you come to me with your non-negotiable, rather than me dinging you about it, I respect the fact that that's something that you're not willing to do, you don't want to do, you don't enjoy to do, and you're just not going to do it. So we don't have to create an argument about that. We don't have to keep going round and around and around about that. It's already established. That's a non-negotiable. Okay? Listen, for those of you that want to listen, come a little bit closer. There's some non-negotiables that I tell couples you need to talk about, even in your bedroom business. This is grown folk conversation here. Yeah, there's some non-negotiables. There's some things that a person is not going to do. You need to put that up on the table, perhaps, before you say I do, if you're expecting a certain thing. Listen, y'all ain't ready for me. You don't want to talk about it. You best talk about it. Yeah. It's just like you need to know. Yeah. Whether he or she eats pork or eat meat, there's some other things you need to know. Okay. Because there's some non-negotiables for him and there's some non-negotiables for her. I'm just putting that out there. Okay. So what I say is, my slogan is, anything I can't talk about, I can't be about. We got to talk about this. Don't be expecting me to do something down the road that we ain't talked about up here on Front Street. We need to be able to talk about it, okay? All right, that's what we're talking about tonight, y'all. We're talking about these non-negotiables in relationships, okay? So I do want to say, on some areas and on some things, of course, there's a degree of flexibility. Of course, we don't want to be so rigid that we're set in our ways. You see what I'm saying? Because one of the things that I share with couples, okay, before they get married, okay, if you're not willing to be flexible in some areas, if you're not willing to change some of your thinking and some of the things that you do and some of the places that you go, as you prepare to marry or what have you, then you might want to just stay single, because we all have to make some concessions, okay, and make some changes. If you want to live like a single individual and do all the things that you were doing when you were single, or I'm going to say do all the things that a lot of single people do, then you might want to stay single, because it's not going to make for a good marriage. Yeah, you can go ahead and tell somebody I told you that. I'm telling you what I know. It's not going to make for a good marriage. Okay? And that pendulum swing both ways, whether it's on him or her. You've got to make some changes and you've got to make some concessions. Okay? All right. Welcome. I see Brenda Gates up from Georgia. Welcome, beautiful. Good to see you tonight. That's it, Gina. It's grown folk talk. Listen, we've got to have some adult conversation. Can y'all imagine? Let me just prop up and talk to you. Can you imagine how many people who say they're grown folk get married and they have not talked about relevant issues that concern grown folks? What? Who does that? Where they do that at? Where they do that at? You just got all these assumptions. We need to talk about everything. Not just talking about our foods, not just talking about the places in the world we want to go visit. You see? Not just talking about the dollar amount that we want to make annually on our jobs. Of course, all of those things are relevant. All of them are necessary. But there are some everyday housekeeping, necessary things that we need to talk about before we say I do or I will, whichever one you say. Okay? There's a whole bunch of stuff you got to talk about. They're not talking, Gina. I promise you. I see it, y'all. Listen, they're not talking. They are not talking. You know, they have all these assumptions. And a lot of people have a real skewed understanding of how really and I know this might sound like I don't know, a statement that maybe I should make, because they don't have a real clue or understanding of how to make marriage work. They really don't. I think it's just going to happen. You know, listen, we have this glorious, expensive wedding, and you know, we've got these beautiful matron of honor and maid of honor and the bridesmaids and the groomsmen and the best man, this gorgeous cake, and we're going on this fancy honeymoon, and everything's going to be wonderful. And there's so many things that you didn't talk about that's necessary. Okay? And then after about 30, 60, or 90 days, listen, all this stuff that you didn't talk about, now it's coming to the surface. Now it's coming to the surface. And a lot of times, one or both of you are hesitant to talk about the stuff on the back end that you didn't talk about on the front end. Because now you done invested. Listen, you done spent all that money, you've done all this, and it's like, okay, I ain't gonna say nothing. It's gonna get better. It's gonna work itself out. Okay. If you think it's gonna work itself out without talking about it and without working through it, tell me how that's gonna happen. I want to know. Message me and tell me how that's gonna happen. Listen, again, I ain't talking about nobody. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I've been doing this a long time. You know, I was a bootleg therapist before I finished my PhD. Okay, working with couples, working with women, working with men individually. You know, throughout my tenure as in ministry and everything else before then. You know, so I got to hear a lot, got to see a lot. And the thing is, Gina, you know, and Brenda and Larry and the rest of you, people were not talking. They were not communicating. I can't stress that enough. You've got to communicate. And you've got to have healthy communication. Okay. And I'll go ahead and say what I believe healthy communication is again. Okay. Healthy communication is more listening than it is talking. Okay. It's allowing each other ample time to share what you need to share, your thoughts and your feelings, while the other one is listening without interrupting. Okay. So that you can really hear to understand what they're saying. You're not just listening so that you can respond. You want to hear so you can understand, and you can ask the appropriate response. You can say, so what I heard you say is da 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 da. Okay. And then I can say, no, that's not what I said. Let me say it again. Or I can say, yep, you got it. That's exactly what I said. Okay. And so now I can sit back and listen to your response. Okay. Or I can listen to the questions that you need to ask me because I heard you. Okay. That's how we communicate. Okay. You got that right, Gina. Taboo topics. And really talking about healthy relationships. Okay. And inhibitors and non-negotiables, and healthy sexual relationships. Those are taboo topics. Listen, shh. Everybody want to have sex, but nobody don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it in a healthy format. Okay. They help me understand that. I'm asking that question in 2025. Are we going to continue to go on this road of talking about everything else, Googling everything else, but we don't want to talk about how to have an effective, healthy relationship or how to have a healthy sexual relationship? You got to talk about it because we don't have all the tools. We don't have all the answers. We really don't. And no one person has all the answers. I partner with other therapists. I partner with other sexologists. I partner with medical doctors. Do y'all hear me? I partner with child psychologists. No one person has all the answers. But when we can collaborate and when we can respect each other's gifts and each other's professions and not be intimidated by them and come together so that we can get all the necessary pieces of the puzzle to help folk be able to live wholesome, productive lives. Bam. That's the ultimate goal right there. That's it. Yep. And sometimes that's it, Gina. Sometimes some of the old school upbringing, listen, our parents and our grandparents, they did the best they had with what they knew. You see, they didn't have anybody to teach them certain things. So what they did was pass on to us what they knew and what they lived through their trial and error. Okay. But look how God has enhanced everything. Medical technology, mental health opportunities. Y'all hear me? Things for our physicality, all of those things. God has done that. Technology. Wow. So listen, it's no reason in the world now for people not to be able to get the necessary tools that they need so that they can build, listen to me, work on and build healthy relationships and healthy marriages. Yes, you've got to have the necessary tools. Okay? So, wow. That's it. All right, moving right along. Thank you for sharing, Gina. You're so right. I mean, these taboo topics. Listen, I don't want to go on a whole tangent tonight, but one of the things that's near and dear to me is in 2024 and in 2025, we have little girls who are coming into puberty and nobody's prepared them for puberty. In 2025, y'all. What? We've got a lot of work to do. Listen, Titus 2 says the age is supposed to teach the young, right? So what are we doing? We are sometimes, as adults, expecting young folk and expecting other folk to know things that no one has taught them. No one has taught them. So how would they know? You see? So, yeah, I try every opportunity I get, pass on knowledge, pass on newness, okay? Whether it's to individuals and definitely to couples, okay? And one of the things I express to every couple, that come in and sit on my couch or sit in the chairs, okay? If you are not willing to work on healthy communication, I'm not so sure where we can go. Because we need to work on fixing that part first so that you all can freely, openly, honestly communicate with each other. That's the key right there. Okay? Being able to communicate and talk. Okay. All right. I see you. I see Dominique. Welcome. Good to see you tonight on. Thank you for chiming in. We're just talking about non-negotiables and want to talk a little bit about inhibitors. But I think I've landed pretty much on healthy communication and that kind of thing because, I know most of you have heard it said for centuries, communication is the key. Okay. Well, what I do, I always believe I put that word healthy in front of whatever it is. But healthy communication is the key. Okay. Healthy communication it has a spirit of drawing someone to you. I want y'all to hear me. Yeah, when you can communicate with me in a healthy way, you see, it draws me to you. Or when I can communicate with you in a healthy way, you see, it draws me to you. And that's what we want, right? We don't want to be in a relationship with someone we're afraid to talk to. We're afraid to, well, I want to say talk with, not talk to and not talk at. We want to talk with. Okay. And see, I'm a word person, and that's what I tell people. We want to be very strategic about the phrases that we use as well, you see, and be sure and say it in the context in which we mean it, because that makes a world of difference. Okay. You want to communicate with each other. Okay. Not at, but with each other. So thank you, Dominique. Good to see you tonight. Joining us. Let me know what city you're joining from as you come on tonight. Let me know where you are, what city you're joining from. Okay, that will be great. Again, see, y'all got me off out in the ocean. I'm good for doing that sometimes. I'll go off on a tangent. Reel me back in. So again, I believe as adults, we need to have a degree of flexibility as well. Okay. Now, I'm not compromised. I don't know. It just depends on what it is, because there's some non-negotiables, and there's no compromising on that. Okay. Okay, a licensed psychotherapist, you in Alabama. Good to see you tonight. Yes, we need to collaborate and tag team on some things. Welcome tonight. Thank you so much. I'd love to have you join me on live and let's talk about some stuff. So thank you so much. There again, some things compromising on, okay. But there again, there's some non-negotiables. I'm going to stay right here on this square, So respect the fact that I'm going to stay on this square. And I'm sure there's a square that you have. And if I want to be in a relationship with you, I'm going to respect the square that you have that you're going to stay on. Does that make sense? All right. Okay, Gina, you in Maryland. Good to see you tonight. Okay, in the DMV. All right. Welcome. Good to see you tonight. Again, like I said, I know a lot of people have, Monday, Thursday, and a lot of things going on tonight, and that's okay. It's okay. Again, ongoing conversation. Okay, non-negotiables should be a living document. Okay, it's got to be a living document. Okay, and it's subject to ongoing discussion and refinement as the relationship evolves. Listen, your relationship got to evolve. If you're at the same place, the same stage you were when you got married or when you started your relationship, or the same stage and place you were at year 5, and you're in year 25 now, woo wee, I hope you go ahead and message me because we need to talk about a few things. You have to evolve. You know, again, nothing is perfect because there are no perfect people. You see, but you want a wholesome, a healthy, a peaceful, a joyful relationship, a joyful marriage. Okay. You want to have more awesome days, okay, than you do days. You want to have days when you're excited to go to work, you know, and look forward to getting off and coming back home. Okay. You don't want to have days where you stuck in traffic because it's okay if you don't get home till late. You see, there's a whole lot of people, I believe, holding up traffic at 6 o'clock because they're not really ready to go home. They're not looking forward to going home. What? That doesn't make for a healthy relationship, right? Okay, Doc, good. Let's collaborate. I'll find you on Facebook or you message me and I'll message you. That's what's up. I believe in divine connection. So thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, hey, Miss Crittington from Tuskegee. Oh, listen, that was one of my childhood mentors right there. So good to see you tonight. Oh, bless you. Yes, listen, she helped me a lot growing up in the church and traveling all over and doing certain things. And yes, blessings to you, Miss Crittington. Good to see you tonight. Pray everything's going well with you. Thank you so much. I'm just on talking. I did a lot of talking in my youth, in my teen years. Did a lot of speaking and things like that. They wasn't ready to call me a preacher when I was a teenager, but Holy Spirit has confirmed for me that I was preaching when I was teen, but they called it speaking back then. But God has a way. And that's the thing. I want to share this with you all too. Listen, God has a way of bringing us into what he has called and destined us to be. I know I'm rambling tonight and I done changed courses and it's all right. I can do that, and we don't get it until we get it, and sometimes it's a roundabout way and you wonder how you landed here. But what I believe, it was in God's plan all the time. But I had to go through what I had to go through, okay, and still going through, to get to the promises that was already in place for me. Isn't that something? And I can be transparent. And I'm coming into, I guess, my own, for a lack of a better word, in some of the giftings and the callings that's on my life, and I'm okay with that. That's one of the reasons I can encourage people to be open and honest. Listen, God created me. He put all of this in me. This is, most of this I didn't choose. What do you do with a preaching, teaching, clinical sexologist? What? I said, God, what folk gonna do with that? Okay. What folk gonna do with that? That's a question sometimes. But anyway, we can't worry about what folks gonna do with that. What we must do is walk in the gifting, that God has bestowed upon us, and allow God to work those things because they're needed in the earth. Otherwise, okay, God would not have gifted us in those areas. Okay, it's much needed. It's much needed. Okay, and I'm just gonna say it like this, especially in our communities, we've got so many taboos and so many bondages that it's just Ugh, as my mama would say, it ain't funny. You see, we got a whole laundry list of can't do's, okay? But we don't have one sheet of paper of things that we can do. And can I tell you, not getting off on that, but a whole lot of the can't do's, they don't even line up with scripture. No, it's just what folk have infringed upon you and inflicted upon us because of their belief, because of their upbringing, because of their religiosity, okay? Because of their history, okay? So there again, no. Yes, healthy communication. Thank you so much. But it's needed. You know, our teens, our young folk, they don't have a shot at having healthy relationships if we don't work on our communication. You see, if they don't see more healthy relationships and more healthy marriages, okay? Not just an image of what one is supposed to look like. No, you want to actually experience seeing somebody living that thing out. You see, somebody living it out. That's what we need more of, more healthy relationships. So, listen, I appreciate you all so much for chiming in tonight from across Alabama and DC and Georgia, and the rest of you. Yeah, y'all have to help reel me back in because I get excited. Listen, I'm passionate about healthy relationships and healthy marriages. That's what I eat, sleep, and drink. I really do, and that's what I pray about often. I'm like, you know, Holy Spirit, download right now revelation for me that I need to work with this couple on, work with this individual on. You see, this is not something that just I haphazardly do. You see, or do because it's something that I want to do. No, this is a gift. This is a calling, and most of the time I don't miss it. And I'm saying that in a humble way. Okay, not in a braggadocious kind of way. Okay, because how many of you know the Holy Ghost don't miss it? Holy Spirit don't miss it. Okay, and yeah, so I'm thankful for that. Let's see what our time is. I don't want to run over and keep you all on tonight. I know that you've got some things to do as you prepare for Easter. But listen, we wanted to talk a little bit about inhibitions, or some people might say inhibitors, and that might be a good topic for us, Doc, to come on and tag team and collaborate on one night. We can talk about, as I said, inhibitions in different arenas, okay? And most of the time, if I talk about inhibitions, because I'm a clinical sexologist, people think I'm talking intentionally or specific about sex. No, there are other inhibitions as well, okay? But whether they are conscious or subconscious barriers, that prevent or limit a person's even their thoughts, their behaviors, and their discussions. So whatever you're inhibited about, you see, whatever it is, in whatever arena it's in, it presents barriers, and it prevents or limits a person's thoughts and behaviors or discussions. There's some things you're just not going to talk about. You see, some places you're just not going to go. And some things sometimes you think, why am I thinking that? I mean, it could really be something that's a right thought. You see, I like to use the word right as opposed to using good, because good is relative. Okay. But it can be a right thought. But because you've been conditioned to think or believe that it's a bad thought or it's a negative thought, you see, you just want to wash that thought right out of your head. Okay. And sometimes what I believe you really need to do is get with a professional and bounce that off of him or her, and find out if that thought is relative, to your life, to your experiences, or what you're going through. Okay. Because a lot of times they are. Okay. But if you're inhibited, or you mess around and talk to someone else who really don't have a clear understanding of it, they can get you off course. Okay. So it's always good to bounce it off of another professional. Okay. So I'll just say this: these inhibitions can stem from various factors, including, again, cultural influences. They can come from personal experiences. They can come from relationship dynamics, and even underlying, psychological issues. You see? So inhibitions can come from a gamut of things. All right. And I'm sure Doc can attest to that. Those are not the only things. That's not an exhausted list. That's just a few things that I, put in my notes. Okay. So again, having someone that you can communicate with openly and honestly, um, as a relationship therapist or relationship coach, you see, uh, that can help you look at some things from a different perspective, you know, uh, and of course, even cause you to think about some things from a perspective or from a way that you've never thought about them before. You see, that's what we're here for. Okay. Not to tell you that you're living your life wrong and everything's you're doing wrong and it's not going to work. Mm-mm. Can I tell you this? A lot of times we as humans, we have some of the tools, because most of the tools are innate. They were put in us before we were born. But guess what? The tools just need to be sharpened. They need to be tweaked. Okay. You need to be able to talk to someone who can help bring those tools out of you to the forefront. Okay. And then kind of guide you a little bit on how to use them in a healthy way. How to use them in a healthy way. Okay. All right. Um, So, again, things that cause inhibitions can be cultural, they can be social influences. I mean, it's so many things. Again, personal experiences, relationship factors. One of the key components of my nonprofit is, I work with women. Uh, I can work with men, and I do occasionally, but most of the time I work with women who have been sexually abused, okay? Whether it comes through molestation, incest, domestic violence, things of that nature, okay? So listen, that comes with a whole gamut of things. And a lot of time inhibitions come with that as well, okay? You can, I won't even get into that, but it's a whole ball of wax, um, yeah, a whole ball of wax. um, Again, sometimes also inhibitions can be a result of medical conditions. Okay, medical conditions. That's one of the things that we, in our tenure of clinical sexology and our educational track, and in our, training, we were taught how to work with people who had medical challenges. Okay. Um, just because you have medical challenges, depending on what they are, that does not take away from the fact, that you're still a man or you're still a woman, and a lot of people with medical challenges still desire to be sexually active, whether it's you're confined to a wheelchair, you have spinal cord injuries, you're going through chemotherapy or radiation. Okay. Yeah. So, we have training. I have training in those areas to help, you know, um, to help people in those areas. Okay. So medical conditions can cause inhibitions. And there again, I'm not talking strategically just in the sexual arena, but I just wanted to put that out there, uh, being transparent, growing up and looking at things. on this track, you would think, okay, if someone's in a wheelchair, that person's probably not sexually active. That's what you would think. All right. Or different things, but that's not true. I just want to say that. And I know for those of you that know that, so well and good, but there's so many other folk out there who don't know that. Okay. Um, there's some people who are can't walk and what have you, and they still, bear children. Okay. So, yeah, you figure it out. All right. So, medical conditions also can cause inhibitions. And there's some people, when certain things happen, they just think certain aspects of their lives have to stop. Okay. They can't have a healthy, balanced life anymore, and that's not true. There are all types of professionals who can help you in every area of your life so that you can still live a fulfilled life, okay? Because our ultimate goal is to live a life of quality, at whatever state we're in, okay? A life of quality at whatever state we're in, all right? All right. So I think that's all I wanted to share with you all tonight. Yeah, just touch base on a little inhibitions and talk about the non-negotiables. Okay, but just know there's therapy out here and it's available. Doesn't matter where you are. A lot of times you don't have to come into the office. I mean, just like they do telehealth now, you can do teletherapy, through Zoom or through, conference calls or, whatever line of communication that you use. But just know that seeking professional help, from a therapist or sex therapist or a psychiatrist or a psychologist, a whole gamut of them, it can provide guidance and support in addressing underlying issues and developing strategies, okay, for overcoming inhibitions and helping you deal with your non-negotiables. Okay, that's what I really wanted you to know. Again, as I prepare to sign off tonight, I thank all of you. Open communication. I know you're going to say, she sounds like a scratch record. She going to keep putting that needle on that record, playing and talking about open communication. I know you youngsters don't know nothing about putting no needle on no record. I'm dating myself with that. But healthy communication is a must. We've got to have that. So talking openly with a partner about concerns and desires can help also not only build trust, but it helps build intimacy as well. Okay? It helps build intimacy when you can talk openly and honest, okay, with your partner. And then education and exploration, okay? Learning about exploring and becoming more educated and more aware, okay, about certain topics and how to navigate the realities of certain things, okay? Not what we think or what we heard, And can I say it like this in Ebonics? Not street knowledge. Oh, I'm so tired of people that's getting street knowledge, Listen, Bebe and them and Pookie and them, they mean well, but it ain't working for them. So why do you think it's going to work for you? It makes for a good conversation and they mean well and they're really trying to help you. But yeah, so learning, okay, exploring and educating yourself, okay, will help you reduce, inhibitions, okay, and will increase enjoyment. That's the ultimate. You're not going to be happy 150% of the time. I don't even like to use the word happy, but you want to be at peace. You want to experience joy. You want to be fulfilled. Okay. You want to uh, be inviting to the person that you're with, right? And you want the person that you're with, you want to feel that they're inviting to you as well. That's the ultimate. Okay. That's the ultimate right there. So healthy communication, open, honest communication, expressing your thoughts, your feelings, and your desires, putting your non-negotiables up on the table, allowing that person to put their non-negotiables up on the table. And now we can talk about all of this. That's how we do that. That's how we do that. I'm telling you, you'll see more people smiling. You really will. You'll see more people who are enjoying really each other's company. You really will. Okay. You got to break through some of these barriers. Okay. So that your relationship can be wholesome, it can be peaceful, and it can be joyful. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Hello, Cheryl. Good to see you tonight. Thank you. Bless your heart. Thank you so much. Yeah, we change up a little bit. So thank you so much. I appreciate you as well. So listen, I'm going to sign off tonight. But thank you all so much for coming on, just listening to me ramble for a minute. Hopefully I'll have a guest on with me next week, and we're going to really be talking about some stuff. We're going to take this up to another level and go ahead and get into some real adult talk, because that's necessary. So you all stay tuned. Tell somebody, share it with somebody. Let them know we'll be on Thursday nights at 9 Central. Of course, that's 10 Eastern time. And we're going to be having adult conversation. Okay. We're going to be talking about healthy relationships. And yeah, we're going to get into some explicit stuff. We're going to be neat with it and everything. But there's some things that we've got to unpack, trying to help you all. Look, at no charge. How about that on the live? Listen, I'm going to use humor. I'm going to enjoy whatever I do on my journey at this point in my life. And I pray the same thing for you. Good to see you tonight. Apostle Yancey, see you. We're getting ready to sign off. Thank you so much, Gina, for hanging in there tonight. Oh, thank you so much, Ms. Crittington. I want you to know you played a very important role in my accomplishments when I was a youngster coming up in the church. So blessings to you. Love you dearly. Thank you so much. So listen, you all have a great Easter holiday. And yeah, I guess I'll say like the majority of people say, don't forget the real reason for the season, okay? And again, that starts with open, honest communication as well. All right. You all have a good one. Stay tuned. Thank you so much, Gina. Oh, you're such a sweetheart. I can't wait to see you when I come to the Maryland area. I'm coming before the year's out. Okay, so we'll all get to hang out up there and see what's going on, because I haven't been to the DMV. So that's on my bucket list for this year. On my bucket list for this year. Listen, you all have a glorious night. Blessings to you. Happy Easter. And we'll see you next week. All right. Inbox me, message me, Doc, so we can get together. Thank you. Good night, everybody.